So I try to record each of the class sessions so that you can go back and refer to it. It's basically whatever's on the screen and whatever is said in the room. Sometimes when you have questions and discussion, it's a little bit hard to hear your guys' voices, but my voice up here in the front of the room comes through pretty clear on the recordings, and then anything that's on the screen will be in the recording. There's a number of webinars that I've put together that kind of give you the basics of the skill sets that we focus on in this class. Those are all listed in the first item there. My lecture that I'm going to do today is this Introduction to Small Business Management. Okay, so the outline of what I want to go through in this lecture here. There's a little bit about the big picture of why this class is important in the rest of your life and the rest of your career. A little bit of background about myself for your benefit so that you kind of know where I'm coming from, not just because I like to talk about myself. It's for you to understand where I'm coming from for the teaching of this class. We'll talk a little bit about establishing a professional image, a little bit about setting goals and working a network, a little bit about becoming a jack of all trades, and then a little bit about the roller coaster of implementation that you have to deal with in running a small business. So the big picture, very similar to what I said in my entrepreneurship class. The skills that you learn in this class are applicable no matter what your job is going forward. So over 95% of all the businesses in the world are small businesses. So just in terms of raw numbers, you have a lot more places to apply to if you're applying to a small business rather than Chevron or Microsoft or some big organization like that. 95% of all businesses are small businesses. So as the economy goes up and down, and you if or when you lose your job in the future, you're very employable, very flexibly with the skill sets from this class. So there may not always be jobs available at the big companies and getting through the HR door with them, but there's always small businesses to apply to. So this gives you a certain amount of job security having the skill sets from this class. There's also intrapreneurship. So basically working on projects within an existing company, working on a new project, a new venture, a new division, new product within an existing company is a lot like running a small business. Some of the same skill sets, the web development, resource acquisition, guerrilla marketing, the same things that you need to do to run a small business are the things that you need to do to run a new initiative within a larger company. So you're covered going both ways depending on what you want to do with the future of your career with the skill sets that you learn in this course. My adventures in small business management. So a little bit about me to give you an idea of where I'm coming from. There's 4 main small businesses that I worked with or worked on over the course of my life. I'm originally from the Midwest. I came out here for undergrad and went to Stanford. My MBA was at UCLA, and then I did my PhD back at the University of Cincinnati only about 4 years ago. So I worked for almost 15 years after graduating from undergrad and business school before I came back to be a professor. So over the course of that time that I was working, rather than teaching, I was working on 4 basic ventures. One of them is called Cost Recovery Systems. That was basically a value-added reseller of accounting hardware and software. It's a business that I started up together with my dad back in the Midwest. That was in the mid-90s that we worked on that. The next small business that I worked on was right after I did my MBA. I finished my MBA and went to Hamburg, Germany, and worked on a company called Doc 11, which was sort of like a combination between Amazon and YouTube. It was a music website in Internet 1.0, and I was in charge of record label relations. So that was, we burned through $4 million in investors' capital in 9 months. The bubble burst and the investors didn't re-up, and we were all out of work by Christmas. But it was a wild ride with a lot of money involved that I worked on there in Germany. So that's the second example. After that business failed, I worked for a while inside the music business for BMG and Sony, and then signed contracts with all the people that I knew were independent record labels in Germany to represent them in Brazil. And I moved to Brazil to marry my now ex-wife. I basically ran a music licensing and event booking agency, brokering deals between record labels in Europe and distributors and concert halls in Brazil. So I did that for a couple of years, eventually stopped doing that business, worked for a little while as a headhunter, and then I started another company which was called Market Driver Consulting. It was basically a lead generation service. So I and the staff in my company would make phone calls, send out emails, and find sales leads for other people's companies, and then hand them a list of people that were willing to talk to them. So those are the four main small businesses that I worked with over the course of the 15 years that I was out in industry before coming back to be a teacher. I also worked in big companies for a little bit of the time that I was out in industry. So I did 2 years at PricewaterhouseCoopers as a management consultant. So there's a number of different projects we worked on over the course of the time I was there. The Bertelsmann Book and Music Club, which is basically like the German equivalent of Columbia House Records. Sony Music Entertainment, I was the director of music licensing for Germany. And then Robert Half Management Resources is a headhunting company that I was a headhunter for about a year. So that kind of gives you a little bit of idea of where I'm coming from for my own career background that I had before coming back to be a professor. And what all those adventures have given me is a very large contact network. So one of the things that I like to do in this class is bring in guest speakers, put you guys in touch with people that can help you with your careers. So in that vein, I have about 10,000 people in my contact folder in Outlook. I've got access to the Stanford and UCLA alumni networks that have really great search capabilities for finding people that are working in a certain kind of industry, working for a certain kind of company that have started their own company in this area. Very, very easy to navigate and very good for finding people if I don't already have them in my contact folder. And then, of course, University of Cincinnati and CSUB's own alumni network, you guys have access to that too. So I hope that over the course of the semester I can put you all in touch with people that will help with your future, depending on which direction you want to go in. Because all that stuff that I did in industry before coming back to be a professor gave me a lot of contacts. It's the biggest thing that I bring to the table now in being a professor is that I know a lot of people. Building a professional image. We're going to talk about this more next week, but how many people in here had a LinkedIn account before I asked you to start one? Okay, a little less than half. How many of you really use that account a lot? Yeah. LinkedIn is a fabulous, fabulous resource for networking. And it's almost, I consider it like having access to the internet. Like everybody, no matter what your career, no matter what direction you're going in, you should be on LinkedIn. In my opinion, you don't even need a resume anymore. You just need a LinkedIn account. It's absolutely critical for business networking, both for small businesses as well as large ones. And I'm gonna make sure that all of you have professional-looking LinkedIn profiles when you leave this class. So, one of the amazing things about LinkedIn is that you can, as soon as you're connected to other people in LinkedIn, and all of you connect with me, which means you have access to all of my contacts. If you search on Microsoft, for example, LinkedIn will tell you everybody that I know at Microsoft. And then you can just look through the list and find somebody you like, ask me to introduce you. We'll go over that more next week, but I have yet to find a company name where I can't find a contact. It may not be somebody I know, it may be somebody that two degrees separated, but it's absolutely amazing once you're connected to some people that have a lot of connections on LinkedIn, how well it works for networking and for finding people at certain companies. So it's a really powerful tool. It's really important to have a good positioning statement at the top of that profile. So you can present yourself, as opposed to a resume, you can present yourself in LinkedIn in whatever format you want to present yourself in. And I think it's really important to have a statement at the top of your profile that says, I am a marketing professional, or I am a finance professional, I am a small business professional. Whatever it is, whatever you want to be identified as a professional, you have the chance to craft that at the top of your profile and really tell people this is the kind of professional that I am. A great thing about LinkedIn as well is it gives you the opportunity to talk about, it gives you the opportunity to list bullet points of the projects that you worked on during your education. So a lot of you, your experience that you have with your homework projects in class is more impressive than the experience that you have in the jobs that you've had so far in your life. So if you just apply for a job based on the experience you've had as a cash register assistant or a barista or whatever, it's not really reflecting all of your skills. You have skills at web development, and by the time you get done with this class, you'll have web development skills, you'll have financial accounting skills, there's a bunch of things you'll have. And LinkedIn really gives you a platform to be able to present all of those things that you did during your education in a way that looks very professional. It's very important to duties versus accomplishments. I've got a little link here that kind of talks a little bit about that area. Most people, when they write a resume or they write a LinkedIn profile, they talk about their duties. They talk about, if I were writing responsible for teaching undergrads at CSUB, that's a duty. An accomplishment is putting numbers to that. So I have taught over 1,000 students in 4 different major topic areas over the last 4 years. That's a concrete statement of number of students. If it could be number of customers that you talked to, amount of money that you were responsible for handling, number of reports that you wrote up. You really want to add numbers to your descriptions of what you've done, both in your classwork and in your job. It really makes it pop better in your profile. And then finally, polish and attention to detail. It's like, spelling errors and grammar errors and stuff like that are really easy to make in the ubiquitous information world we live in today. I mean, there's so many things that we type up. There's so many different things that you write here or right there. It's hard to always get everything correct, spelling-wise and grammar-wise, but it counts. Like, I've had my LinkedIn profile for several years now, and I still find little things that I change about it every year. So you want to continually look for the phrasing, for the polish on your profile as well. So next week we'll talk more about that in detail, but that's a good chunk of what it's one of the main things you're going to get in this class is a crash course in how to appear professional on LinkedIn. Another thing that I want you to get out of this class is I want to help you get where you want to go with your career. So, in my opinion, like, you guys are here to get a degree and get a job. Like, my job as a professor is to teach you certain information, which eventually is going to be reflected in the diploma that you get from Cal State, and find you a job. So, to the extent that I can refer you to contacts that I know, give you advice on what to do to get into a certain area, I want to make sure that this class helps you get where you want to go. So, the reason I sent out that professional development plan template is I want to know what's your job today and what job would you like to have. That question is different for everybody in here, but when it comes right down to it, what do you do today, and what would you rather be doing after you graduate? How much money do you make today, and how much money do you need to achieve your goals in life? We'll talk about some examples next week of thinking big and planning for buying a house, for being able to take care of your parents when they're old, for owning a jet. If you want to own a jet, being a millionaire. If you want to dream big and make these goals come true, we're going to go through some basic planning tools for how to flesh out how much money you're actually going to need to achieve these objectives. We'll talk a little bit about, the job you want to get after graduation is not necessarily the reason I asked you for those of you who have filled it out already, the reason I asked you in the template, what would you be if you could be king for a day or queen for a day? I want you to really dream big and let me know what would you like to be 10 years from now or 15 years from now. And I want to make sure that this class, to the extent possible, is helping you get to where you want to go. And then finally, the rule of 10. If you want to be, I've done a lot of sales over the course of my career, and I'm very superstitious about the number 10. Like, if you want something to go right in your life, you need 10 opportunities for that to work out. So, if you want to get a certain kind of job, you need to have 10 applications out there. If you want to find a new customer for your business, you need to be talking to 10 leads. If you're only talking to one lead or one job, it might not work out. If you're talking to 10, usually something good happens. So it's very important in the homework assignments that I give you, it's very important that you have multiple options for where you want to get to. So becoming a jack of all trades. This is just reiterating what I said at the top of the syllabus. Web development, product service development, which includes trademark and copyright research, customer acquisition, competitive research, industry research, management operations, HR, those things, accounting and financial analysis, and capital resource acquisition. Each week, we're going to cover one of those areas. And like I said, I'll have a lecture on it on Tuesday, and then we'll have a hands-on activity to apply those skills on Thursday. And I want everybody in here, by the time this class is over, to be able to do those 8 things. If you're able to do all those 8 things when you leave this class, then I was successful in teaching you what I was supposed to teach you. And then finally, one of the reasons that I want you guys to reach out to small businesses and identify your own projects is to have to overcome problems. I mean, to the extent possible, it depends on what the project is that you're working on, but to the extent possible, I want to expose you in this class to something else that is the reality of daily life in small businesses, which is overcoming problems, dealing with rejection and isolation, adjusting on the fly, and persevering to create value. A lot of times, there's going to be problems in running a small business. No matter what kind of small business it is, there's going to be problems that you encounter. And a lot of times, there's going to be a lot of rejection from customers that don't want to work with you, partners that don't want to work with you. You're going to feel very isolated at times. You're not going to have a big support network and lots of other departments and lots of other employees like you would in a big company like Microsoft. It's isolating sometimes, and you need to have sort of the emotional skill set to deal with that and deal with overcoming problems in running a small business. You need the ability to adjust on the fly. You may start out working on a guerrilla marketing plan and realize 2 weeks into that what you really need is a direct sales campaign, and you need to be able to pivot and change what you're doing quickly in order to address whatever the company needs. And then finally, you just got to stick with it. It's not sexy, but just not giving up and continuing to stick with your project, stick with the small business, eventually creates new value, which is the whole point of what we're trying to do here. So, to the extent possible, I'm going to try and expose you to that sort of roller coaster of small business management in your projects. I'm not sure. Not all of the projects are going to have life-changing problems. Not all of them are going to have isolation and rejection, but we're going to try and find projects that give you a little bit of a feel for the roller coaster of having to stick with and persevere on a project. That is basically what I wanted to go over today in class. Any questions about that lecture material? Okay, one other thing that I want to do before cutting out for the day is talk about potential small businesses that you guys can do projects for. So, how many people in here have an existing small business that you're thinking of that you'd like to do a project for? Okay, cool. Let me start in the front of the room and move back. What's your name?
Graham Petrie. Hi everyone, my name is Graham.
Okay, Graham. What business are you thinking about doing a project for?
Well, 2. Would like you to maybe push me towards one or the other. I currently work as an acquisition manager at Motor City Lexus, so I do inventory stocking and stuff like that. I go to a lot of music festivals and stuff like that, so I created a brand called Mgmt where I do festival clothing and apparel. I started that a couple months ago, so I feel like this could help me a little bit with that as well.
So either the car company or
maybe both.
Okay. So tell me again the name of the car company.
It's Motor City Lexus.
Motor City Lexus. And what's the name of your clothing company?
Ombear, O-M-B-E-R-T. Bear.
B-E-A-R?
Yep. Threads.
Cool. What's your name?
Alicia.
Huh?
Alicia.
How do you spell it?
A-L-E-F-I-Y-A-H. It's a family business here in town, Home and Leisure.
That's the name of it?
Yes, that's the name of it. And it's a pool and spa, like, leisure store.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Let me make more board space here. Oh. How do I get that thing to go up? Oh, there. Thank you. Thank you. This is the first time I ever taught in the science building. Okay. Other hands that were up.
I work for Imbibe Wine and Spirits.
Okay. What's your name?
Kevin.
Kevin. Perfect. What kind of project were you thinking about doing?
I just briefed the owner on a new marketing strategy pipeline thing, so we're
Cool.
implementing that.
Sounds great. Where were the other hands? Jennifer.
Photography business,
What's the name of your business again?
J. Varner Photo.
J. Varner Photo?
Yeah.
Okay. Did I see other hands up there in the back of the room?
I was either going to help her with hers or she was going to help me with mine. I'm starting a late 80s, early 90s style clothing store.
What's your name?
It's called Bakersfield Heatwave.
No, what's your name?
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah.
And say again, what was the name of the company?
Bakersfield Heatwave.
And what is Bakersfield Heatwave?
It's a late 80s, early 90s style streetwear clothing company.
Okay.
So I'm just in the midst of starting that.
Cool. Other businesses that you guys think you might want to do a project for? Yes.
My name is Zayna.
Say again.
Zayna.
Dana?
Zayna.
Zayna. Z-A-N-A?
Y-N-A.
Z-A-Y-N-A. Hang on. Okay, Zayna?
My mom has a handmade soap, soap bath bombs, almost like a Lush, but a smaller version of Lush.
What's Lush?
Oh, okay.
Organic
Okay, good, okay.
Organic soap.
Oh, organic soaps.
Yeah, I don't know about organic,
Yeah,
but
they're not
soaps,
organic.
bath bombs, bath salts, body salts, stuff like that.
Okay. What's the name of your mom's company?
Millie Zane, M-I-L-L-I-E, Z-A-Y-N, soap company, soap co.
Z-A-Y-N-E or just N?
Nope, just N,
Okay.
soap co.
Soap Co. Cool. Other idea? Yes.
Beef jerky place. It's called Plain Jerky.
Tell me your name again.
Savannah.
Savannah, thank you. I'm sorry, Savannah. What's the name of the company?
Plano Jerky.
Plano. How you spell it?
P-L-A-N-O.
Like that? Beef jerky?
Plano Jerky.
Okay.
It's important.
Cool. I love beef jerky. What kind of project were you thinking about?
Possibly marketing. I would have to talk to her first.
Okay.
but Probably not.
Cool. Other ideas?
My uncle was in transportation business.
What's your name?
Lourdes.
Lourdes? What's the name of your uncle's transportation business?
K&I Transport.
K&I? Cool. What kind of project were you thinking about?
I think marketing.
Okay. Marketing is certainly a project we can do very well in this class for any of these. So, anybody else that has a business in mind or a type of business if you don't have a specific business in mind? That's a good start with the list right here. Okay, it's a little bit early, but that's what I had to get over today. So I will see you guys on Thursday. Anybody that just added to class, make sure to email me so I can give you the introduction materials. And each project is a little bit different. It might be marketing, it might be research with competitors, it might be finding mention that next time. Okay, cool. Huh? Yeah. Yes. Just say, this is my name, I added 34. Just your name. No problem. Okay. Okay, cool. Make sure to email me so I can get you the information you need too, okay? All right, thank you. There you go, no problem. Got a pen?
I have a question about the.
Make sure to email me, okay?
I have a question about the website link.
Uh-huh.
So now I'm taking your both classes,
Mm-hmm.
the small business and entrepreneurship. Do I have like to do like 2 accounts?
No,
Just one.
just one.
Only one for 2 classes?
For
Yeah.
both classes. And after we register, like, should we follow you on that website or send you an email or what? Should we do?
All you need to do is click on that link in the email.
Okay.
That'll take you to my LinkedIn profile,
Uh-huh.
and you'll here.
Because I never used that.
It's okay.
thing before.
I can't remember my password right now.
Really?
Basically, under my face on my profile page, there's going to be a button.
Like a
where
follow?
Yeah, no, it says connect,
Connect.
and just click on that
Okay.
and connect to me. That's all I have
That's
to
it.
do. Mm-hmm.
But that's after we do our profile.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Ray Barnes. I'm a student athlete here, and so
Okay.
this is basically a letter just explaining that I'm a student athlete and I'll be
Mhm.
missing a few days from right there. So if there's any complications, like as far as like classwork or anything like that, that's what this is for.
That's
so
fine.
We can communicate effectively.
No problem.
And yeah,
And I will sign it for you.
yeah, just sign right there. That's
Yep.
it. And I'll take care of all the rest. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Hopefully, we can get past the semifinals of the NIT this year, huh?
Yeah, hopefully we'll go to a different tournament this year.
That'd be nice too. But winning the NIT is pretty cool too. You know, that was really awesome that you guys went to New York.
It was really fun. New York was really special.
I bet.
special place.
I bet it was.
Good. Well, thank you.
It's no problem. See you later. Yes.
Hi, Don.
I'm good.
I'm asking about the project. Like, I have an idea of a grocery store, an app. Like, you can done a list. I have outline of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can done a list like before. It's help for family. Like if parents in home and the father went to grocery store, and it's already a list in the house. They have connected their phone. It's already pick up the list.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose the like egg, milk. You can choose, and also the app help of the cheaper place. If you done the list, it's told you can take this stuff from that grocery and that from the cheapest
Mhm.
place. Is it like an idea like that, or should I find another project?
Have you started the company already?
No.
I'd prefer to focus on a project that's already a business that already exists. My
So
3400 class, we do new businesses.
Okay.
I like the idea.
So I should find something it's already started.
Yes.
There is some app that's similar to that, and they already started their app, but not the same app that I'm thinking about.
Okay.
I can like change with that app. It's already successful.
If you talk to that company and you want to do a project for them, sure.
Okay, I should contact with the companies first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I just sent you an email.
Okay.
Got you on LinkedIn, Facebook, and like I said, my name's Graham.
Graham?
Yeah.
Good. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. You got some good vibes about you. I'm excited about this semester.
Cool.
Yeah.
Should be fun, man.
It will be. You have a good night.
You too. Later on.